Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie Arell. The topic today is a little more personal, but I'd like to expand it into a lesson that I would like you to take away, which has to do with finding things that are challenging to try in order to enrich our lives, facilitate creativity, and really to feed us with energy. Many years ago now, I became a Survivor fan. I don't know if I would call myself diehard, although I do know 2 or 3 people that have been on the show because somehow I get attracted to them like magnets when I'm in situations where they are. I myself was interested in being on the show, and I was living in Florida at the time. I had a friend who raised snakes, and I wanted to do a very fantastic video as my audition. And Florida's warm, and I was a lot younger, so I got in little tank top and some jean shorts, and I had 1 snake around my left leg and 1 snake around my right leg, and a snake around my left arm and a snake around my right arm. And I sat in this tree giving my speech about why I wanted to be on Survivor, trying to keep these snakes out of my clothing. Interesting fact I learned, I'm not sure if all snakes do this, but this particular type of snake, they were a little mad at me and they were hissing at me, and I'm trying to talk and keep them away from my face, not around my face, but away from my face, and keeping them out of my shorts. That was the other effort. And one of them peed on me. Apparently, this is when they get really mad, they actually let out this very foul odor, and it took me 3 days to get it off of my skin. And everywhere I went, I just smelled like these snakes. Now, I did not make it on Survivor. I'm not really sure what the interplay of all of that was, except for that I did know somebody a few years or maybe a few months later who was involved in casting. And one of the things they shared with me was when they, at that point, I'm not sure how they do it anymore, but at that point, they asked for you to do a huge survey and you had to answer questions about your health history. And I've learned recently, very type A, and my stress location is in my stomach. And so I've had a history of having some difficulties with parasites. I'm very sensitive in my stomach. And basically what I learned was that everybody on the TV show, because they're eating foreign foods out of nature, for instance, that they often get parasites. We can combat parasites, the human species, but it can really set you back a little bit to have this kind of stomach problem. Anyway, I wasn't on the show. I still watch it. In fact, I'm halfway through Wednesday's episode. Very good. I love watching the competitions and conduct my workout life with this kind of competitive framework. Even if I'm only competing with myself, it's a mental exercise for me. That's a long story to offer a takeaway of thinking about how we grow from putting ourselves in situations which are challenging. Sitting around with snakes was not the easiest thing to do, and I thought it might help my chances on getting on the show. Obviously not. But it was so much fun to know that I did that I didn't allow fear to block my test of myself to try something that I thought might be really exciting. And I think about this, I would say pretty regularly. I don't engage in activities as often as I would like that push past fear, but it's something that I know when I do it, it adds value to my life. It adds self-worth to my experience of myself. It adds some excitement into my day, and it really does, I would say, enrich my experience of the world. Fear can do so much to us and lock us up to not experience the richness in life. And all of us are afraid of different things. If we walk towards that fear and even put it aside a little bit to try something new, to try something intimidating, to try something a little bit scary, the rewards are innumerable. Even if you don't become the best at that thing, even if you don't continue that thing, but just to try things that are new and different. Also, I think when you push past fear, there is an accessibility to your creativity that you never tap into if you allow fear to stand in your way of trying new things. And these things can be super basic. I can give you some examples for myself. I love to dance. I ballroom dance. I am afraid of ballet classes. I took them when I was little. I was nice and skinny when I was little. My body changed as an adult. And one of the things on my to-do list is to start taking a ballet class because I know it'll make me uncomfortable and push me past my limits and increase my self-confidence. End of story. I love the French language. French is very, very difficult to take DELF or DALF exams. If you know anything about foreign languages, you want to go to school in France or other foreign countries as well. You want to work for citizenship based on your particular ancestry for a certain country. These tests are required. I wanted to challenge myself and take the citizenship exam in French. It was one of the hardest things I've done in my adult life. I passed it. I can't wait to take another test because of what it offered me and my own, a reward for discipline and challenge and entering into the fear of talking to people in a foreign language in an oral exam as an adult. Leaving personal examples aside, some other examples come into mind. Some people are afraid of open bodies of water, in a boat, on a paddle board, swimming, and instead default to a pool or actually won't ever go to the beach. What would it be like to go to a body of water, to rent a paddle board, for instance, and spend 30 minutes, or to wade ankle, knee deep into a bigger body of water? Maybe it's freezing, maybe it's warm, to just feel what that feels like on your skin, to feel your heart rate go up a little bit and to push it a little further, push yourself, push your limits a little further. Another example, a little more simple perhaps, and one that I see readily, are people going into gyms and feeling intimidated. When I see somebody come into a gym that's a little bit nervous, this is not something that intimidates me, but I have practiced it to not intimidate me. When I see someone come in new, I always appreciate what I see, even in their own reticency when they go into a new piece of equipment or try a new exercise. I always appreciate watching somebody push themselves. And pushing yourself can be mental, it can be physical, but to walk into a space where you feel uncomfortable and practice feeling comfortable, again, it has great rewards. Walk in, don't try the treadmill, try something else. Look up an exercise routine online. Go try it. Make some mistakes. Learn the rules. This is actually the same thing as speaking a foreign language. Practice. Make mistakes. Who cares what anybody thinks? Learn. Grow. Excel. Thanks.